Hey everyone, what's going on? This is West Productions 100 here. Thank you for joining me for my latest live stream right now. I'm doing this live stream on COVID-19 and small businesses, as you can see from the title, the impact on small business. So a little bit about myself. I've been a really big fan of small businesses for a long time. Grew up being into small businesses, the idea of small businesses. So especially restaurants, because that's a lot of small businesses having restaurants, and when I got older, bars as well, and local shops and stuff like that too. So one of the saddest, most unfortunate parts of this whole situation, aside from the all the people having to be hospitalized and being on ventilators and the suffering from COVID-19, is the additional suffering from loss of jobs, additional suffering from going out of business, or the debt of said businesses, and the lack of help from in my opinion, the government on the situation. I've noticed when people want to try and and I'm speaking about America here. I'm not going to speak for the rest of the world. I'm speaking about the United States here. I notice that some try and frame it as if it's the fault of the Republicans or it's the fault of the Democrats alone. They don't try to make it seem like it's like their party, the party that they vote for. Generally speaking, they've done no wrong, and it's the other party's fault. Well, in my opinion, I'm here to say that they're both accountable as far as I'm concerned. They're both in power. They both share power in the United States Congress. They both share power throughout the United States. So when it comes to these COVID stimulus bills, and the resistance from both sides, their unwillingness to compromise, their unwillingness to push things through, and keep on delaying things for as long as they've been delayed. Maybe we may get something by the end of the year, maybe, but just the fact that we've had to delay for so long, I think speaks to that from personally. I know some people are going to interpret that to be like, well, that's the fault of the Democrats, or that's the fault of the Republicans. But to me, the fact that either side has not managed to get something through yet for a second stimulus, as far as I'm concerned, they're both held accountable. Yeah, you can make the argument, well, the Democrats have done more of this, or they blocked this, they blocked that, and someone could say, well, the Republicans, they've blocked this and they blocked that, and it's like, well, whatever that is true and whatever that is not true, the point is that they're both still in the government. They're still both responsible at the end of the day, in my opinion. It's like when sports fans argue with each other over whose team is better. It's like, yeah, sure, you can make the argument that your team is better or that the other team is better, but at the end of the day, you're still just a spectator. You're still a fan. You're not actually on the team itself. So that's the way I look at it when it comes to when it comes to the politics here. That being said, though, there are certain grievances I have with both sides here. So I'll start off with the Democrats first, because they've been, locally speaking, on a local level, on the state level, they've been more strict about businesses, the operation of businesses, especially like retail business. So it's frustrating to see them being so restrictive on a smaller business, because a lot of these smaller businesses cannot handle, they're being squeezed. They're not ready for this. They're not prepped for this. They just don't have the resources. And I would have hoped that the government would have been able to compensate more small businesses, because and I was kind of like, it's still frustrating to see that they're kind of just letting some of these businesses go, cut and loose, cut and dry. Just there's no safety. There's not really much of a safety net. Especially coming from a party that tries to preach about how they're trying to work for more of the working class, the middle class, and stuff like that. Say what you want about the Republicans keeping things open or trying to keep things open. The Democrats, they say, well, we got to close these things. When I say Democrats, Republicans, I'm talking about the people, their leadership, not the voters and stuff. So I just want to clarify that. They say, well, we got to close these things to prevent the spread of this virus. Well, first off, there's been studies that have come out that said that a lot of these cases have actually come from in-person private gatherings. They haven't come from restaurants or other businesses. That the majority of them actually come from in-person gatherings inside people's homes, because when you go to someone's home, like your friend's home, your family's home, people just seem to be letting their guard down and not wear a face mask or not take proper precautions because they think they're in someone's house, they're safe or something like that, and that's not the case. In fact, if you were to go over to your friend's house or a family member's house, you should definitely take precautions. I know that they're your family, or I know they're your friends, but like that still doesn't mean they can't have the virus, So you should. I mean, restaurants have to take proper precautions. Even in states where they're allowed to operate, restaurants are still taking precautions. They still, try and like be more sanitary. I mean, they're doing a better job than your friend's house, or your family member's house. I'm sure most of them are, maybe. But I mean, like, the fact that, like, going back to the Democrats though, you restrict these businesses, and there is some grant money, there is some relief, but it's clearly not enough because some of them are definitely going out of business. And it's frustrating. It really is, because it's like some of these businesses are not built to be to be a carry-out business. They're not meant to be a delivery business. They were meant to be sit down and stuff like that. Sit down in a restaurant with waiters and stuff like that. So, from them to go out of business is pretty sad. And like, I just wished I would hope there was more support for those kind of businesses than there seems to be anyway. The fact that like it's like and from the financial institutions too, like the fact that you can't like cut the rent payment, or you can't cut or you can't freeze rent payments or something like that to slow down these businesses going out of business. It's sad to me. I mean, I'm not saying there hasn't been anything at all. Like, there has been some stuff, but like, I mean, it's clearly hasn't been enough, and it shows. I mean, all you gotta do is just look up some news articles to see that there's businesses that are still going out. So, I understand we're between a rock and a hard place, but it still seems like more could have been done. But like during the summer, for instance, why couldn't some of these areas that have more tighter business restrictions, when they loosen their restrictions, why couldn't they have developed a plan in place? Because there was a chance there was going to be a second wave anyway, and there is a second wave right now. So there was a chance that there was going to be a second wave of COVID-19, and it didn't seem like enough was really done to plan ahead for another wave, for a second wave, aside from just doing the same thing that you did back in March. Now, back in March and April, I understand, we didn't know enough. We didn't know a whole lot about this virus. We know a lot more about it now. Everything was kind of just like scrambled and rushed together. Okay, that's understandable. We didn't have a whole lot of time to prepare and plan for that. But like during the summer, you have a few months to try and like plan something out or work something together. And it just didn't seem like enough was really done during the summer for the second wave. The other thing I want to talk about too, before I wrap up this video, because it's almost 10 minutes now, is this false dichotomy, in my opinion, of health versus the businesses, or I've seen it worded more like health versus profits. The idea that somehow, if you speak up about these things or you have concerns about these things, then that means like you don't care about people's health, or you don't value people's health, or people say like, oh well, or some people said, well, we got to think about people's health this and health that, and it's like, have the people who've said these things, have they considered that these lockdowns have very much hampered people's health as well, like their physical health or the mental health, the stress that comes from having to lose your job, the stress from losing your business, the stress from slow down the economy like this, like the stress can have an impact on people's, not just their mental health, but their physical health as well. And that physical mental health, the strain on your own health, can also make you more susceptible to like a virus of some kind, a cold or a flu or COVID-19, in my opinion. So this, the idea that we just need to shut all these things down. If you don't agree with that, then that means you don't care about people's health or their lives. Like, that is just a false dichotomy, in my opinion. because I don't think it has to be one way or the other. I think that's a false dichotomy. I think you could try and find a ground in the middle to compromise. If we're up to me, I would have tried to find some kind of middle ground, some kind of like in between, the businesses, maintain, especially the small businesses, because let's be honest here, the small businesses are the ones that are getting hit the hardest. These bigger businesses like giant corporations, giant franchises, they're not doing as badly. In fact, some of them are doing well, like Amazon and Target and Walmart. Those places are doing pretty good. It's a smaller family-owned grocery store business or a family-owned restaurant that's really taking the brunt here of this stuff. So it's tough. It really is tough all around. And I think we all need to be trying to be more understanding of each other too, because like we have to all, at the very end of the day, we have to all try and acknowledge that no matter what kind of suggestions or solutions we come up with, we're all stuck between a rock and a hard place here. Like every solution has flaws in this pandemic. Loosening things up has flaws, but also putting restrictions and lockdowns in place also has its flaws for the near future and the far future and in between. And I'm not going to expect everyone to agree with me, but I do think there could be some kind of compromise. One example could be like what indoor dining or outdoor dining, like not have a full restaurant, not a full restaurant, but like have like at least half have a limited seating capacity, like have at least half or less be indoor seating or something like that. And yeah, do the outdoor seating thing too. I mean, the fact that LA County, one of the warmer parts of the country, of the United States, especially during this time of the year, was willing to shut down all outdoor dining is just, come on. It's like, I understand you're trying to do a thing for public health here, but like you gotta also take into account, the health of the people who work for these businesses and the business owners and the customers and stuff too. Like, you got to take also the health of the local economy and the mental health of the people as well. There's people who, I mean, I was listening to the radio one time and alcohol sales are through the roof. I mean, do you honestly think there's not substance abuse going on right now, or like of any kind? Because as a result of this pandemic and stuff like that. So once again, though, it's all rough. It's rough all around. So I'm not trying to say like I have all the solutions and all my solutions are perfect. I'm aware that my solutions have flaws and risks to them as well. But I just think, that's just the way I am though. I try to find a compromise sometimes, with some of these things. And I don't appreciate when people say like, oh, we need to lock down everything, or people that support that kind of policy and then go like, and if you don't support this, that means you don't care about people's health. Like that is just not true. That's not true. And like, I wouldn't say the same thing about you, because I'm sure there's people out there who are saying that right now. They're like, oh, those people that support these lockdowns, they want to just destroy the economy. Like there's people out there that I'm sure they're saying that. I've seen comments like that. So, and I think that's ludicrous as well. So, maybe we should just try and be more nuanced about things, hopefully. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. This has been my live stream about small businesses and COVID-19. I wanted to do more stuff earlier in the year, but it's just been a long year. It's been a crazy year. I just got overwhelmed with everything, with my own life, with COVID-19, with school and work, and just everything else, and just exhausted. This year's been nuts, and it's been a crazy year, to say the least. And so, that being said, though, I still wanted to try and get a couple more videos out before the end of the year, and I decided towards the end of the year, I'm like, well, you know what? Like, I've had a whole year to like, kind of like digest everything. So, with some hindsight behind me, hindsight's 2020. So, I decided to wait a little bit longer, and so that's what I'm doing right now. All right, folks. So I'm gonna cut the live stream off right here. Thank you for watching, and stay well, stay healthy. Try and support local business as much as you can, even if it costs a little bit more money to shop or to buy a delivery or carry out from a local restaurant. At the end of the day, you're helping out local businesses, and I do think that's important because it brings more money into the local economy, and it helps to sustain jobs and stuff like that. And also, local businesses are awesome. I mean, so to be, interacting with the local people who work at these places. It's like, it's like having extra friends or family. It's like a local community. You're interacting with your community in a way that's different from a McDonald's. And I go to McDonald's too, but like it's nice to just support the locals. It's nice to support small business too. All right, folks, take care now. Bye bye.